Have you seen some of those videos? Technology nowadays has really put a different spin on this. I mean, they have
Yeah,
drone footage of missile
yeah,
systems getting bombed or
it's
missiled.
crazy watching a war in real time.
Mm.
You know, think about that. We never in the history of the world, we really haven't had that. I mean, even the Gulf War, in the early '90s wasn't. That was over pretty quickly. They rolled up, they put their hands up and said, "Ah, we quit." And then, you go back to Vietnam, they had TV, but it was like delayed, and we're getting live because everybody has a camera in their hand. That's the thing. All these people have the ability to broadcast Facebook Live or Instagram Live, all these opportunities to do that, and yeah, it's pretty nuts. What do you think, Brandon? You think this is
Well,
going to
so
change things?
I have a
Yeah.
question for you quick before as you're rolling into this. Do you think having that video makes it seem more real? Or do you feel like it numbs us to what's actually going on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think right now it definitely makes it more real for everybody. I mean, long term, maybe it desensitizes people to it potentially. So I think you might be onto something there. However, who knows? Maybe initially, I think it maybe makes things it just makes things more real for people, obviously up front. And I mean, as we know, the world we live in now just has a very low tolerance for any bad things going on in life, whether it's war on down to whatever. So I think it plays against any aggressors because we are a world filled of anti-aggression now. So it doesn't look good. Doesn't not good for Putin. He looks like he's the aggressor clearly. There's they say they're not, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't look good, and I think it does change the complexity, regardless going forward, like you guys already noted. So I think it's a game changer, really, just social media and
It
live streaming.
it's tough. It's tough to say you're not the aggressor when you're going into someone else's space.
Mhm.
Like if I stepped into your personal space, it's hard to be like, "Oh, well, Chris isn't the aggressor here." Well, yeah, you are. Back up. Get out of my face. In this case, get out of my country. Like you came
They,
across like this is where we're at. Like
yeah. So what do we know? Did Ukraine they supposedly bombed some stuff and wiped some stuff out before Russia went in? Probably when you guys were doing the podcast. Do we know? I mean, we don't know if that. I'm not the person to say it's above my pay grade. Was that real? Was that set up? Was it not? That's what we don't know. Stuff like that, and it's all we know is what the media is telling us,
oh,
obviously.
Yeah,
that
because there's
yeah, right.
that that's so true because there's very interesting footage. So there was two missile systems side by side in a forest on one of the videos that I saw, and they bombed one of them. I'm watching this video. The other one never gets bombed. And I'm thinking to myself, you can clearly see that there's two side by side, and they took out one. So, like, why does the video stop here? And it almost leads you to believe, like you said, do we actually know what's going on?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was thinking is, does it almost seem like it's desensitizing us to this stuff? Because I feel like why some people, uh, you know, play around with firearms, so to speak, is because they don't understand what a firearm can actually do.
Yeah.
That's a weapon that can take someone's life. If I shoot you with a pellet gun or a BB gun, I'm most likely not gonna kill you. And then we play these video games, but then you watch videos like this, and we may see explosions, we may see death, but we never feel it. We never realize what that death actually is unless we've experienced it. So you watch some of this stuff, and it almost makes you question what is the angle or what exactly is going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, well said. And that's it. Just there's a lot of let's cut right to the chase, I guess. We've talked about this earlier today. Chris and I, we talked about this and the group this morning, stuff like that. You don't. It's always hard. It's hard to tell. Retrospect, obviously, you go Monday morning quarterback, but that's easy, and that's you can't really do that in these situations. But it's it looks very fishy. You had 2 weeks ago, or I think it was 10 days ago. You had Biden, and they were doing press conferences saying this is when they're going to attack. I mean, they actually told like the date and time much that he attacked, and it actually happened. I mean, like I remember seeing that being like, there's no way. Like any general, any person that like, why would I attack like when they called it out 5 days prior? It just made no sense. There's so much smoke. I haven't found the fire yet, and I know it's not a great analogy, but there's just so much smoke around the area. It just feels very fishy. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. And what amazes me though is that there's so many people pontificating, and there's so many experts on Russia and Ukraine now all of a sudden, and it just blows me away. And I'm sitting here, and again, Dates and I talked about this earlier today. I've been studying this stuff for 10 years, 20 years, and I don't pretend to know more than 1% of what's going on, and yet you just have all these people with these massive, allegations, and like, I know what's going on, and it's like, do you though? I mean, it's like you can't even figure out your finances from day to day, yet you're going to tell us on Russia, Ukraine. That just stuff blows me away, and that's where I think my point with all this is, like, hold your horses and do some flipping research before you go down the rabbit hole. And Russia, or Putin might be the aggressor, he might be the next Hitler, I don't know. I'm not here to say that. I think the point is, do your own research, do your own homework, and make your own decisions, because it just feels very fishy, because the entire world is, we're freezing Russia out of everything, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and Russia's bad on both sides of the aisle. It just feels very staged. Biden's calling things out a week ago or 2 weeks ago, like to the day. You'd think if you're the aggressor, you would like not do that at that time, and like, you know what, maybe we should back it up a day, or maybe we should. It just feels very off. Something's off. But maybe I'm completely wrong. So